If learning a new language or restarting your language learning journey is part of your New Year's resolution, here are a few things that I recommend doing when learning a new language. So first of all, you want to make sure that you cover all the basics, and the basics are literally the basics. Make sure that you have enough exposure to the language, make sure that you focus on vocabulary, and make sure that you have the right tools to get your language learning started. You want to incorporate language learning into your daily routine, and whether that's listening to a short podcast on your way to work or when you're commuting somewhere else, or just reading a few pages in a book in that language, make language learning part of your daily routine. It's important because the more time you spend on learning that language, the easier it will be and the faster your language learning journey will go. Now, I mentioned that you should look at vocabulary, and it is actually quite important. And the thing about vocabulary is that you can use your native language. So if there are words in the second language that you know from your native language, you can actually kickstart your language learning journey. So rely on your first language while you're trying to learn this second language. Now, normally I would say try to do as much as possible in the new language, but of course we have to be realistic, and doing everything in that new language might be overwhelming, challenging, and just too difficult. So find a good vocabulary list or find a textbook for that language in your language and just simply use your own language while learning your new language. For English, there are lots of possibilities, and I know that every language in the world has a English language learning book, so that's very easy. But if you're trying to learn a different language, it might be a bit challenging. But the most important thing to focus on are, of course, exposure and vocabulary. And while you're listening to something, or while you're reading a book, or maybe even while you're reading an article, and even while you're watching television, if you encounter a word you don't know, write it down, look it up, and make it part of your everyday vocabulary. Now, the next thing you want to do is find other ways to incorporate your language learning journey into your daily life. And the best thing, of course, is to find a language learning app. There are many available apps, and I've checked out a few, and here are my favorites I think are worth checking out. Of course, there is the one and only Duolingo, which is fun and offers some nice games and possibilities to learn a language, but it has heavily focused on streaks, and some people, including myself, might find it a bit too overwhelming, the daily reminders that you need to learning your language. Another app that I really enjoy and that I've gotten the possibility to check out a bit more in depth is Promova. Now, Promova is a very nice in-context language learning app, and they offer lots of things like courses, one-on-one tutor experiences, language used in films and series, and many more things. They even have an AI chatbot, which I've checked out, and I'm going to make a video in which I review Promova, so make sure that you're subscribed to know when that video is out. Of course, when you're learning English, you definitely need to include Grammarly in your toolbox, so that's definitely worth doing. And finally, the third thing that you need to do when you're trying to kickstart your language learning journey in the new year is don't forget to produce language. Language learners are usually heavily focused on taking language in, which means that they focus on their receptive skills, which are your listening and reading skills, and many people try to focus on grammar and vocabulary as well. Now, these things are important, except the grammar part, but what people sometimes forget is that to learn a language, you also need to produce language. Now, I'd recommend everyone who tries to learn a language to keep a journal, and by journaling in that language, you improve your writing skills. Now, if you're learning English, of course, we have things like Grammarly that can help you, or Pro Writing Aid, which are AI based now, which are good ways to improve your writing skills. But you can definitely check online to see whether there are interesting language learning communities where people want to give you feedback on your writing. If you've subscribed, you know that I also offer feedback on writing, so if you want me to give you some feedback on one of your writing pieces, let me know in the comments. So find an online community where you can talk to other learners of your language, and for English you can definitely go to Discord, and see whether you can connect with people and have a one-on-one chat experience. Now, some of the apps that I've mentioned before also offer this, and when you get a tutor, you can also do this with your teacher, but talking to someone who is also trying to learn that language might be a bit less overwhelming and might be a bit easier and might simply have a lower threshold for you to pass. So don't forget to include producing language in your language learning journey. Now, of course, there are lots of English teachers on YouTube who have all their niche that you want to focus on, and I've linked a few in the description, so check those out as well. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to English with Mr. Henriquez so that you know when my videos come out. For now, I hope you found this video useful. I hope that you can kickstart your new year with your new language. And of course, if you found this video useful, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you want to know when my other videos come out, don't forget to subscribe. Check my other socials like TikTok, Instagram or Blue Sky. And for now, thank you for watching and I hope to see you in one of my next videos.